Well, if it's Friday morning, if it's 9 o'clock, it must be time for the About Mansfield Consumer Advice Series. I'm Steve Casillo, your host, and I will be here for about 10 minutes or so talking about health and wellness, which is this particular segment. And specifically in this segment, we bring back the foremost expert here in Mansfield of migraine headaches, which as we've been talking about for the past few Fridays, that it's chances are someone you know or possibly yourself may be suffering from migraines. We've been talking about what is a migraine and what the trigger points are of migraines. They are muscular, nutrition, neurological, and hormonal. And we've been specifically with Dr. Joseph Adams talking about the muscular triggers. And in fact, let's just go ahead and bring him in. Dr. Joseph Adams, you are not at your home office like you normally are. You want to tell the people?
No.
You want to tell the people where you are?
Yeah, we're in Las Vegas, Nevada today. So I'm actually in the hotel room. I tried to find a really cool place for this podcast, but this is the best I could do.
You're in Vegas, but you're not in Vegas to play. You're actually there to learn.
No, we're at the largest chiropractic conference in the world, and we're here to learn how to help patients more and see some of the new technologies that are coming out to the market that can help patients.
So you're learning more about not only more about migraines, but the chiropractic practice itself. But you are furthering your education in migraines as well.
Correct. Yes. Yeah. And then I'll be at another one, another conference next weekend as well. So we
Oh,
stay
wow.
pretty busy.
Okay.
Yep.
So let's go ahead and, first of all, before we get into part two of muscular triggers, let's go ahead and recap last week, if we just briefly, the muscular triggers for migraines.
Yeah, so just to recap what we talked about last week, there are a couple different muscles and regions in the head and neck that can cause people to have migraines if they're not well taken care of. And so the ones that we discussed were the SOT muscles, this little triangle of muscles up here at the base of the skull connecting to the neck. If you were to press into those muscles and you feel some tenderness, maybe even some tenderness that kind of goes up into your head into a specific pattern that's similar to the migraine pain that you have, then that would be an indicator that you need to work on those muscles. And, we talked about how you can do that last week on the pod. The other muscle group and region is the trapezius right here. So the trapezius out on the edges right here. Everybody likes to come in the office. They're like, oh, my shoulders are really sore. I'm like, well, that's actually your trapezius. It's a kind of connects your shoulder and your neck. It's kind of a no man's land, I think, for a lot of people who aren't practitioners. But there's usually a knot right here, and if that knot, if you're to press into that, and it similarly gives you some pain that goes up into the head, across the face, or reproduces a similar migraine pain that you have, then that's an indicator that you have that as well, and you can work on that too to help improve your migraine condition.
What are some of the lifestyle situations that people do that can also lead to muscular triggers?
Yes, it's a really good question, Steve, because if you have these, in your body, these muscular triggers, it's like, where do they come from, right? Well, a lot of it is repetitive trauma, right, and or repetitive stress, right? And so if you're sitting at a desk working for a good amount of time, these days it seems like since people have gone home for work that they're actually working longer, sitting longer sometimes. And sitting is one of the worst things that you can do for your migraine condition because it'll affect these muscles in a very negative way. And it also goes for tension type headaches. So this is kind of an overlap area. Anytime we're talking about muscle triggers, that this stuff applies to tension headaches as well. So sitting is one of the worst things you can do.
All right, so it's pretty safe to say then someone who has an active, maybe an outdoor or a standing type job is less likely to trigger a migraine than someone who has a desk job. Would that be safe to say?
Yeah, I think I think we could say that's probably more likely. Yes, I wouldn't say it's like always that case, but I definitely see more of this in, females that are type A who have desk type jobs. So I'd say that there's definitely a correlation to sitting, and we need to talk about, how people can improve either their sitting posture or change the habits they have at work throughout the day.
And do ergonomic chairs, or I've seen people sit on exercise balls at a desk, or do those help?
Yeah, so there's a lot of good options these days, and that's what's really cool. And some of these companies now will happily, buy you a variable desk, and I would say that the variable desk is the best way to go. So get a desk that can go up and down, because not everybody can stand all day long. And if you have some, problems in your low back, or in your lower extremity, your legs, things like that, maybe standing isn't the best thing for you, throughout the day, the whole day. So I like variable desks. As far as exercise balls go, it's a good idea. The only thing about those is it requires a lot of muscular effort to do those correctly, because if you slump on one of those exercise balls, you're not doing yourself any good. So that's a caution with the exercise ball chairs.
It's also good for the abs, I think, the core.
Yeah, yeah,
Right.
yeah. So that's the beauty of it, is if you were to sit there and actually engage your core and have good posture the whole day, then it'd be phenomenal. It'd be probably one of the best things you could do. But nobody's going to do that.
It's
They're going to be like this. Before you know it, they're going to be like this on that exercise ball.
oh
And
yeah.
then you see that, look how bad that's going to mess me up because look how much tension I'm putting through all these muscles we discussed.
So let's go ahead and review then you get the diamond, or I'm sorry, the triangle shaped muscles, the SOTs in the back. So we want to focus on those. The trapezius, is that? You're the doctor, I'm
Correct.
not. So the trapezius muscles, and as those tend to tighten up, we need to focus on how is it affecting your head? Is it leading to a migraine? Um, and and feel free to jump in if I'm heading down again. You're the expert.
Yeah. So to answer that, if these muscles get tight, they trigger a very specific part of your neck, the nerves in the neck, and in the back of the skull, and it kind of irritates them, and that's what can cause a migraine. So if you're already taxed, let's say because you're stressed out, you eat the wrong foods, or you don't eat enough, or you have some neurological issues, and then you have all these muscular triggers, that just having a stressful day at work where you're, grinding out work on the computer for 3 4 hours like this, could likely trigger a migraine for you, because these muscles got irritated and got that nerve so angry that decided it was time to have a migraine.
Yeah. And in the weeks ahead, we will be talking about the nutrition triggers, the neurological triggers, and the hormonal triggers. But for the past couple of weeks, we've been specifically talking about muscular. And any parting words, any last words regarding muscular, and any parting words on where to stay and where to eat in Las Vegas?
Wow. Oh, yeah. I could give you something for both, I think. So as far as the muscular system goes, when it comes to migraines, is you've got to keep all this stuff loose. Let's just keep it really simple, right? So like mobility is important. You need to stay loose, limber, active lifestyle, keeping your neck loose. It's very easy to stretch these muscles. So I would highly recommend people just make it a habit if you're struggling with migraines or headaches, or um, the other thing is, as far as you said, as far as Vegas goes, in my opinion, I've come here a lot because there's a lot of conferences here, especially in healthcare, and I'd say anything at the Wynn is the best route. The
Anything
Wynn
at the Win.
Hotel, yeah. Any restaurant in the Wynn, you're going to be good to go. Food's phenomenal over there, so we like to go to all of those places.
And double down on eights and aces.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
There you go. Just real quick, you got any tips on the Super Bowl? You got any who you rooting for?
Oh man, we got to go Bengals, man. We got to. They deserve it, I think.
Very good. If someone had questions about migraines, maybe specifically about the muscles or migraines in general, how can they get in touch with you?
You find us on calibrationchiropractic.com. You can also find us on Facebook, find us on Instagram. We have a YouTube channel as well. We put out some content there. So we're all over. But, if you reach out on any of our channels, we'll happily answer questions for you.
Dr. Joseph Adams, appreciate it. We'll do it again next week, Friday, 9:00, right here live on Facebook. If you miss the live feed, you can also find it on YouTube. You can find it on LinkedIn. You can also find the audio version in a podcast on the About Mansfield podcast page. Dr. Joseph Adams, we appreciate it. Have a good time in Vegas.
Thank you, buddy. I will.